2 months, 11 countries, 17,000 kilometers, one Rolls-Royce. Cape to Cairo to London. If you start saving now, you too could make this trip when you're in your 70s.
Both Mike and I have a skin problem, and the reason being...
Well, you're thick-skinned.
No. Skin means spend kids' inheritance now. And that's exactly what we have just done.
Mike and Jeanette van Ginkel describe themselves as seasoned adventurers. He's a distinguished aviator who ran his own flying school in George for many years. Together they won the state president's air race in 1969 and 72.
It's a long time ago now, but we were fortunate to win it, and again twice in the same aeroplane, and it's still today, that's a record that's never been broken.
Jeanette was the first hot air balloon pilot in South Africa and participated in the World Championships in England. They've been married for 53 years. They say that a journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. This journey of 10,500 miles starts in a decorating shop in Johannesburg. Jeanette has run this business for 38 years, but her 70th birthday meant it was time to do something different.
I felt life must start now, because these are our golden years, and if we don't dream and do something, it's going to be too late.
It was a great adventure, and it was to get my wife out of the business for 90 days.
The getaway car was a 1981 Rolls-Royce Silver Spirit that Michael bought last year for 250,000 rand. It was in pristine condition, but no Rolls-Royce had ever crossed Africa before.
We sought out the best advice we could, and Roger Pierce is a man who has done that trip from South Africa to Cairo a number of times. He immediately said, I'd have to look at the car first of all. And at the end of 2 days he said, the car will do it, with a few modifications that I will do. But I'm not so sure about you.
Specialist mechanic Roger Pierce put truck tyres on the Rolls, raised the suspension and reinforced the undercarriage. They then took it for a trial run up the grueling Sani Pass.
No vehicle that is not equipped with four-wheel drive may be driven up the Sani Pass, except with prior approval of the administrator. Well, we've asked the administrator and he said, be my guest, go ahead.
They said because of the long wheelbase of the Rolls-Royce and the sharpness of the hairpin bends, we'd probably have to go up and reverse and then go up and eventually get round. We never did that once. We went around and around and around with no problem at all.
There was no damage. He said, if it can make the Sani Pass like that, we can go up Africa. Let's go.
On the 30th of March, the Silver Spirit left Cape Town escorted by a cavalcade of her more conservative stablemates. And then they drove off into the sunset, crossing into Botswana with Jeanette at the helm and the Spirit of Ecstasy on the bonnet.
It was a tarred road, but it was very potholed. That's where we lost our first hubcap, I think.
They crossed the Zambezi by ferry, accompanied by their trusty mechanics in the support vehicle.
We were very lucky because there were no cars waiting to go across, so we put our 2 cars on board immediately. The truck that came with us, that guy said to us, he said he'd been waiting there for 2.5 weeks, all in a line.
Their journey took them past the Victoria Falls and north towards Tanzania. Now, I guess the radio doesn't work all the way through Africa, so you actually have to talk to each other.
There was a lot to discuss. So the countryside going past, the population, there was lots of sights. So we talked about what was happening. We also talked about the road a lot, conditions. What's that pothole? Mind that tree, mind this. What we're going to have for lunch. We listened to Frank Sinatra, the radio, the tapes worked well.
We had the iPod working for a while, off the radio.
So modern stuff. An iPod?
No, you just tune your radio into the iPod and you've got all the music you need.
The Silver Spirit sailed down the mountain passes of Tanzania with much waving at the friendly locals, both human and feline. From there it was on to Kenya, where the heavy rains made the going quite tough. But the Rolls and the Van Ginkels took it in their stride.
Not a problem. It's only when it started coming over the bonnet, onto the windscreen that I got a bit worried. Because then I couldn't see. And then I couldn't see the potholes.
Along the way there were a few roadblocks, but not once did they get pulled over.
We never saw one traffic cop. Not one.
That makes a
In the
change.
whole of Africa, from Cape Town to Ghana.
How have your perceptions changed of the continent and its people?
I found that the people are very friendly.
Did you never feel that your life was threatened?
No.
Definitely not.
They enjoyed a variety of accommodation.
Oh, it's lovely.
From